Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. I begin in Allah's name, the beneficent, the merciful, my respected sisters, brothers. Welcome. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. It's an honor to have you here, and we feel very excited that we're in the cusp of a very eventful moment, inshallah, with the completion of our new facility. As you are all aware that we have this Wise Academy on Beach Daily, and we're very excited about it. And as you know, what makes it even more exciting is the fact that the facility now can handle the entire grade level from pre-K all the way to 12th grade, which makes it very exciting because we have so many parents in the community who are asking us to bring their kids in, and before we didn't have the facility to cater to all those classes, all those grade levels. So we're honored to have that. So I'm just going to do a brief introduction, and then I'd like you to interject in the Q&A. If you have any questions, any misunderstandings, any comments you'd like to make, I would love to hear it. As you know, by Allah's grace, Wise Academy was launched roughly 4 years ago. It didn't exist before that. The original idea was that we started the school as an after-school extracurricular program. So the idea was that we felt that our youth are at risk when they come out of school, because studies show that children are most at risk when they come out of school to the time their parents come home. That's the most risky period, because at that time they're usually not very monitored, and they have that free time, which they can tend to be deviant. So what we decided to do was that why don't we fill in that gap and provide the kind of services within the community for all students in the community going to different schools to come and join our program. And it was basically academic. We designed to enhance their scores. So if whatever grades they were, our goal is to improve that. But also we create a safe environment for them, and we help them finish their homework so that when they get home, they are basically relieved and they can spend meaningful time and critical time with their families. As you know, the WISE model is built on 2 protocols. That's our mission, our essence of how we run. It's built on 2 principles. One is the principle of damage control, and the second is the principle of promotion of excellence. So these 2 principles are very fundamentally essential. In society, there are those who promote excellence, but they don't do damage control. And then there are those who do damage control, but they don't promote excellence. Both have weaknesses. It's the control of damage, which is to put them in a safe environment and to prevent the child from degrading. That's damage control. And then to enhance their education, their social abilities, their psychological perspectives, their religious outlook, their spiritual outlook, and that's all promotion of excellence, which is to push them to higher stages, because we truly, truly believe that there is no child that lacks the capacity or the potential to reach very high stations in life. I feel that many a times we prevent them from reaching those high stations, and the Quran clearly states that we have been enormously blessed. وَلَقَدْ كَرَّمْنَا بَنِي آدَمَ, we honored Bani Adam. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has placed it on many fronts, but the fundamental principle in the Quran, يَا أَيُّهَا الْإِنسَانِ إِنَّكَ كَادِحٌ إِلَىٰ رَبِّكَ كَدْحًا فَمُلَاقِيهِ. O mankind, struggle upon struggle till you meet your Lord. And that struggle has to be positive in proactive ways. So we launched that, but we realized that the after-school program was from 3 o'clock onwards, and we had this real estate that was sitting during the day, and we felt that why don't we just start a homeschooling program. So we launched the homeschooling program, alhamdulillah. This was experimental, and we received tremendous positive feedback, although we were rudimentary in so many ways, very nascent, new, we were just learning the industry. But by Allah's grace, 4 years later, here we are. I truly believe it's a miracle that within a community in 4 years, for us to be owning a 5-acre property where we're building a 120,000 square foot building that's really state-of-the-art, that's really it's not rivaled by any institution. I mean, unless you're a state-owned, federally owned, heavily subsidized in the hundreds of millions of dollars, it's just not possible to do this. But Allah has blessed us with this vision, and good people come in and we have our own business models, self-sustaining models, because our goal is to change the lives of our community, especially our next generation, towards positive, upright standards. فَأَقِمْ وَجْهَكَ لِلدِّينِ حَنِيفًا فِطْرَةَ اللَّهِ الَّتِي فَطَرَ النَّاسَ عَلَيْهَا. Maintain your faces upright. Meaning, how do we do that? Well, I believe the foundation of all is education. As they say, if you think education is expensive, try ignorance. It's the most destructive thing in life. And if we go to any community and we educate a society, we change the dynamics of that society. But we must not do it simply to put it in our portfolio to say, oh, we have an education facility. It's unacceptable. We have to push the standards where it's a limitless approach, and every child, when they're taken to every plateau, we should never say, okay, that's enough now, you can slow down. There is no such thing. Quran says, فَمُلَاقِي. Keep struggling, struggle upon struggle, till you meet your Lord. Means that never stop taking your standards. So this is just the principle of our vision. Inshallah, you can read some of these in our handbooks. For those of you who are not aware of the WISE model. What we like to teach is creative thinking, meaning one of the principles in our education is, I believe we should not create cookie cutter systems where we put our children within a system, give them standardized tests, pat each other on the back for good scores, put them in the workforce, and think that our kids are successful. We find a lot in the society, members in the society are unable to derive understanding of what their purpose in life is. I've seen people who have scored very high scores, but they don't have the capacity to derive basic principles, even belief in God. So I believe that we need to train our children with the fundamental principles of life, the core driving engine of life, and teach the child to derive. That's the power of derivation. Quran says, لَكِنْ أَكْثَرَ النَّاسِ لَا يَعْقِلُونَ. Most of mankind does not understand. What does Allah mean by this? Is they don't have derivation power. They're just following like a herd of cattle. You see? And the problem is we do not want to create next generations that follow like a herd of cattle. You see what Trump is doing today? He's doing a lot. He's lying publicly, but he has a herd of cattle that simply agrees with whatever he says. They have no derivation power. Muawiyah had that. He saw that. He said that society just follows. So I'm going to fool them and they will follow me. And we need to teach our children to understand the dynamics of life so that they make their own decision. Like people ask me, okay, you have brothers and sisters in the classroom together. Even at your camp, you have brothers and sisters. Isn't it dangerous? I said, how will the child learn what haya is if you do not put them in the environment on when to say no and when to say yes? Do I put this child in a bubble and prevent them from seeing anything? Well, that's not healthy. Let the child crawl. Let it fall sometime. Let it get hurt. It's the only way it will learn how to run efficiently. So we have that policy. And the second is collaborative teaching, collaborative learning. We find that in the real world, the biggest problem, even in my industry, is collaboration. Can you work with a team? Can you delegate? How much do you know what to give and how much do you know what to keep? That's an art of a lifetime. That's what makes leaders leaders. Leaders are the ones who have the capacity to understand the amount of delegation with which to work in a collaborative way. As they say, genius is the collection of mediocrities. You and I are mediocre within our own standards. Of course, we're excellent, but you get my point. I can't do everything. I may be excellent in one thing, but holistically I'm mediocre. But if I tie in with your excellence in what you can do, and he can do, and she can do, and we all tie collaboration together, then we create genius. And that's the power, I truly believe, that we need to train our children to be able to harness, to be able to see, you've got skill, come here, I want to work with you. I want to create a network relationship with you. If you look at business, the entire engine of business is networking. It's the power to network. Because A knows B, that's it. Once there's a connection, something else happens. How do we train our children to do that? Many times I go to class, I see a kid doing his assignment on his own. So I would interject to the teacher and say, why is this child doing, he doesn't want to deal with the other kids. I said, that's a failure. You are encouraging that. You must discourage that. But the child doesn't want to. I said, well, that's just what a school is for. You're going to teach them to want to. You're going to teach them to see the gem behind the interaction and the collaboration. So that's what we really, just as a quick point on our collaboration concept, I believe that this is really where education needs to be. If you look at the core principles of the Quran, and I've traveled the world, I've gone to some of the finest schools in the world. I was recently in San Francisco, I went to see Athenia schools. They're one of the top rated schools. Their average ACT is 32, 31, 32. Very, very high. And I asked them, how do you run your operations? What do you do? They're still creating cookie cutter systems. Many of these schools, they're very highly regarded, but it's like a snowball. If you get a few very intelligent kids who go to your school, the notoriety increases and the institution benefits. And when it benefits, it gets the creme de la creme in the school, and the creme de la creme now are feeding into the engine like Harvard. And so the entire institution looks like it's really moving in the right direction because everybody's there. But that does not necessarily imply that the youth who are in there are necessarily learning what they should be learning. But because there's so much good brain around, so much good brain power, by law of nature, it just seeps into everybody, and therefore it looks really good. So that principle we want to have also in WISE. As I mentioned, in a 10-year plan, I'd like WISE to be considered the Harvard of schools in the United States, if not the world. It's not something that we are going to take very lightly. We want our kids to come out of this institution well-mannered, confident, that when they speak, people know this is a different person. And then they're going to get accepted into the finest institutions. It's a moral institution that does not discriminate between religions. Even if an atheist joined our school, a Christian joined our school, a Jew joined our school, they would feel the same, because at the end of the day, Islam is about the promotion of morality. كنتم خير أمة أخرجت للناس تأمرون بالمعروف وتنهون عن المنكر وتؤمنون بالله. You're the best in the community. You promote good, you forbid evil, you believe in Allah. And that's what I really believe we need to do. So to me, it's an honor. If a non-Muslim child is to attend our school, that's an ode to the fact that we're teaching the right kind of Islam. Not the one where a child runs away because it's too Islamic. If the messenger had that attitude of being too Islamic, he would not be able to talk to anybody. He'd be talking to Allah only, because he'd be too Islamic. What is Islamic if it's not high moral standards? Right? So I think that's what we need to teach. So if a non-Muslim child comes in and says, what are you going to learn here? If a parent comes and says, what are you going to teach my child? I say, I'm going to teach them manners, respect, honor, and to look at the spectacular fabric of God's creation as a mercy and a rahmah, and to deal with every member of this earth the same ways you would deal with your own community. I think that is the true principle of Islam, not the Daesh kind of Islam that puts up a black flag and beheads people because you're slightly off my mark. That's not Islam. Now, moving forward, alhamdulillah, just a quick update before the Q&A session, is that we have a building by Allah's grace that we're building. You know, it's very ambitious, but I do believe that when we built this, I knew, as they say, build it and they will come. But as I say even to our students, and I say to our staff and our teachers, it's not the building that makes an institution. It's not. It's the teaching staff. It's the leaders and the teaching staff and the students. The student population, the combination, even then under a tree, it's special. But given the fact that we are competing with so many high-powered schools in the neighborhood, as well as in the regions such as Troy. Troy is some of the best schools in the community. Their average ACT scores is in the 30s. 30, I think, is the average ACT score. We need to compete with that. We need to compete with Cranbrook, with Country Day. We need to compete with these other schools that are in our neighborhood. And the idea is that we need to elevate our standards, but also to let the world know we're moral. You know, I used to manage a school district, one of the largest school districts, the largest funded in technology in the United States. It's in Rye Brook, New York. And we manage 3 campuses, okay? Fiber optic network, $7 million a year was our budget. And I would see the level of education was superb, but the moral standards, bankrupt. The amount of indecency and what we call destructive behavior socially that could not be managed within the school system because their hands were tied. You know, that's the lacking part that differentiates us from the rest. Ironically and sadly, within the United States, if you run a charter school, the first mandate is you cannot teach religion of any kind, especially with a God in it. That's the first mandate, you know, not the 5th mandate, not the 7th mandate, first mandate. Think about that. So so you cannot teach religion. I said, but the fact that you prevented God from being mentioned is a religion. So you're pretending you're not religious, but you have a religion. Your religion is to prevent anybody from talking from the divine moral principle. So they will fund us $8,000 to $10,000 per child, but you cannot teach religion. And that's our catch. We say, you know what? We're going to subsidize and spend money, but we're not going to let that go, because my child can be a PhD, can be an MD, can be the world's best scientist. If they don't have good morals and good manners, I don't care what you say. You can have $1 billion in your bank account. That doesn't make you a successful person. Look at Donald Trump. Excellent example. A billionaire who has no akhlaq, who has no morals, who's a misogynist. Look at Bill O'Reilly, right? Making, what, $22 million, a year, I think was his salary, $20 million a year. Okay, does that make him a successful man? Look how wicked he is. So it's not about success, even the gift of gab that you can talk so well. If the akhlaq is lacking, then what else is left? Okay, so quick update. Research shows that to bring a top-notch school, and we've done research on this, it costs $12,000 per child. Troy schools, their budget average is $12,000 per child. If you calculate, the average teachers, they get paid between $60,000 and $70,000 a year. And research shows, in all the top schools in the world, that teachers make an institution. It's very important. The kind of education that you impart is, now if you have to understand, if it costs $12,000, our community is at that level to say, why should I even spend $1,000 when I can send them to free schools? Whereas in California, there's a waiting list for Athenia schools, and their average education price is $35,000 a year. $35,000. So I asked, is it full? He said, there's a waiting list. We have 100 people waiting list, 100 student waiting list. Why? 35,000. They say these parents know the value of that education. That once they invest that money, their children will read 10 times more, 100 times more. And that's the investment factor, which many parents in our communities are not convinced. They feel their children can make it up without that. And then it's debatable, of course, but the sheer percentage is very low. You cannot take that percentage. You have to take the safer side of the percentage and say, I'm not going to allow my child to be a potential statistic that failed. So what we're charging now at the rate of $7,500 average, some people say, oh, we're getting a sticker shock. You're the most expensive. Why is it seen as the rich person's school these days? It's the elite school. It's an irony. I chuckle. I said, really? At $7,500, we're elite? MashaAllah, that's great. If that's considered elite, you charge $30,000, $40,000, maybe you're an elite school. $7,500, you can't really, it's very difficult. But we feel that investment, even from our pockets when we subsidize, is part of the equation. We can't just put the burden on the parents, because it takes time to develop that mentality, it takes time to develop an economy, and it takes time to create value. So that's where we're going. So let me conclude here that by Allah's grace, we've reached a stage now, we're spending roughly $6.5 million on this property. The new project that we're doing, but it's actually very cheap. For 120,000 square foot, anybody who's in construction will tell you, $6.5 million is very low. By Allah's grace, we were just appraised at the half construction level when we took a loan. By the way, we took a $2.9 million loan to complete this project. And when the appraisers came in from the bank, they assessed our property at roughly $6.8 million currently, unfinished. So I think, inshallah, when it's finished, it'll probably be $9, $10 million worth, maybe $12 million worth. It's not about the $1 million worth anyway, I don't care about that. What I'm saying is, mashallah, we're there, we're moving, and we feel empowered to say, this is for our community. And remember, we're doing this, I don't take one dime out of this from this project. It's entirely fiduciary from the point of view that it's a property of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. None of people think I own this place and I'm getting rich, and Hajj Hassanain has got a tree in the back and he's plucking $100 bills. And mashallah, if you think that way, more power to you. There are a lot of people there trying very hard to make you think that way. Alhamdulillah, I'm not trying, and people are thinking that way. SubhanAllah, that's great. The point is, I don't care about that. I am truly driven deep down within the short span of time on this earth that we've got to change the dynamics of our community and to elevate the standards. And without your help, brothers and sisters, we can't do it. So I really, really want to thank you for your time to come and to have this conversation so that we can understand what's the vision of where we're going and why are we going to do what we're going to do. So I open this up to you now. If you have any questions, I would be more than honored to answer if I can. No, there's only one microphone, I think. Is there? I think she has it. I want to also thank our administrative staff, by the way. As you know, Sister Summer is our principal, and she's truly, truly a blessing. You know, ever since we started WISE, she's been a part of our institution, and she's really, the best thing about her is the ikhlas, the purity that I see in her. It just drives me. You know, and it's very important that leadership should reflect that characteristic. Ikhlas, mukhlisina lahu-ddin, where you have ikhlas. Let the child see transparency. Not because I'm a principal, I want to show off, I'm an important person, you know, or somebody who's pontificating or looking down on a child and pushing them. And that's what we love about her. And of course, Sister Reem, who's the assistant principal, we're very, very honored to have her. She has that very, you know, she's truly a pedagogue, educator. You can see her presence when she walks in. She does a fantastic job. And the entire team. I'm not going to mention everybody's names, but all our teachers, all of you, mashallah, we're very, very honored to have you with our institution, inshallah, and much more. Bismillah.
Assalamu alaikum. I know you've been involved in the school district as far as education, and is there any data that can attest to the success you had with you know, in your previous years that you're going to implement here and also with the culture?
Data in terms of my previous institutions or here?
Your previous institutions that you're going to bring over here.
Yes, plenty, plenty. I mean, I feel that technology, and we were managing technology in the school. So I was managing the school district in the technology department. So I had the entire campus of 1,000 computers. It was the only school that had 2.5 kids per computer. At that time, it used to be 10, 12 kids per computer. That school had 2.5 kids per computer. And they had fiber drops all the way to the computer. You don't do that. Usually you have main fiber lines and then you bring Cat5s, you know, you bring copper down. But they actually could afford fiber, the most expensive things to put on a wall. And we managed the technology, and we found that the power of technology is extremely important. It empowers the child. And this new institution, by the way, we're putting state-of-the-art technology. We're talking about interactive walls. We're talking about very high-tech systems. In fact, one of the things we're doing to not take any chances is that our entire building is electronically controlled. Every door is managed. And it's designed to segment intrusion. Let's say somebody walks in, we can lock out a person, and the doors and the windows are very, very, you know, they're all blocked, very solid block, and they've been poured with concrete in between. So even if you shoot with a gun, it doesn't go through. Okay, we've done that precisely to create a safe environment for our kids. That's one thing. So we have an electronic system, it's a biometric system, where teachers will be carrying a card, but they also punch in a code where they can put their fingerprint. The idea behind that is so that we control, we manage, and we're also putting interactive units in the class. And one of the things that we're working to install is a robotics lab in the school. We want our kids to learn robotics. That's the future. Artificial intelligence, it's the future. Children need to be aware of it. They may not indulge in it, but they need to be aware of it. We're in the backyard of the auto industry. We need to create labs where our children can design self-driving cars. They can design solar cars, you know, that use alternative fuel methods. We're in the backyard of Ford and General Motors. Our kids, and there's plenty of money to go out there in the STEM program that's prevalent in the state, you know, which is science and technology. And that money, there's hundreds of millions of dollars that are being used. I feel that our kids need to have access to them. And when they do present in 3D models, they feel empowered. So when they go into the work industry, they're already aware of it. They're not, you know, shocked by it. So I have a lot of data in history. And I've been doing this for 30 years now. This is not something I just started yesterday. So I feel empowered, but there's always something to learn. And I feel and I'm researching a lot even now. You know, what do they use? What works? What doesn't work? Should we invest in this? Is it worth it? But robotics lab, these unique labs, 3D lab, where they actually create 3D objects, and they also do 3D modeling, using 3D software. I think that has helped me. I've been doing that for a long time, by the way. As a molecular biologist, I used to do 3D modeling. And that gives me spatial X, Y, Z, spatial understandings of things. And when I design these buildings, we designed the camp, in Google SketchUp, and I do all these shadow studies. People say, are you an architect? I'm an engineer. I said, no. I just had this background, and it helps me. It helps me make better decisions. And our kids need to have that.
Thank you.
God bless you. Thank you.
One thing Hajj hasn't mentioned is, I'll attest to it, is a wise youth. We just got done finishing that project. And Jewish rabbis will come in the center and say, wow, you're competing with us. I mean, I just took somebody to the building and said, this community has no idea what it's in store for. Hajj always says, say less and deliver more. The same shock that the Houston community came across Chola's community as well. Any other questions? And by the way, with Hajj Hassanain, there's no taboo question.
Yeah, just ask. I heard, Mr. So-and-so told me there's a rumor going around. By the way, I'm privy to some of these rumors and I chuckle about them. And by the way, I don't mind negative rumors. I actually like negative rumors. Oh, I just said, I said, oh, good, wait, hold on. Maybe they're saying something right here, we need to, because negative rumors, to me, are very positive. For two reasons. If it's absurdly negative, then I smile. I said, I must be striking the right chord because it's bugging them. That's good. And I'm not doing anything bad, educating kids.
We've had just some of the data within the school that's happened within the 3-4 years. When we first opened up the school on Ford and Telegraph, our first students to enroll in the school were parents, were teachers of the public schools. Because they recognize the problem more than anybody else of the public schools in terms of certain things, of the bad words, the dating, and so on. That's one. Two, we've had 3 graduating class, alhamdulillah. Most of our students graduate early. We offer more college dual enrollment classes than any other school. The other thing is they all get into universities, most of them, Ann Arbor. We had one student that got accepted to Ann Arbor at the age of 15. We actually had 2. One that almost got into Harvard. And we're only, like Hajj Hassanain, we're at our infant stages, so the sky's the limit.
We just recently had Quran competition here. Some of you may have attended it. And our kids were reciting entire Surah Luqman, for example, which is the 31st chapter of the Quran, mashallah. And it's not a short surah. I mean, it's not a long surah, but it's really, really deep. And I was sitting there for the entire competition, and I said, subhanAllah, they were doing a phenomenal job. And we had other schools. Maya was there, Great Revelations was there. It was really nice to have this collaboration with our schools in the neighborhood. And we push each other to become good with each other, but these are all good institutions, alhamdulillah. And when our kids were reciting, and of course, I judge on these all the time, how they recite their lafz and the way they pronounce and their tajweed and so on. I was very impressed. Very impressed. Our teachers, Hajj Ahmad and so on, mashallah, did an excellent job. Then the next day I flew to San Jose. There was a national competition for Quran. Some of the top reciters from different parts of the world came, and a lot of the youth were reciting in the community. And as the youth were reciting, I said, our kids are better. With due respect. And I said, and this was the first year we've done it. And I started having dreams. I said, oh Allah, I want to create a Quran institution. Bring in the best qaris in the world, hire them, employ them in this institution. Our kids should not only recite it eloquently, but talk it and walk it. Because that's the foundation. Inna hadha Quran yahdi lillati hiya aqwam. Let's not do lip service to call ourselves, we're a moral system when we don't follow the protocols of morality. America is bound by the Constitution. What's our Constitution as Muslims? The Quran. And our children need to know this Quran as a Constitution. I believe what has changed my life is the Quran, 100%. All the barakat of my parents, Rasulullah, Ahlul Bayt, of course are all blessings, but the Quran, oh my God. Today when I debate, even when I speak in public, I hold on to the Quran. Even the biggest scholars cannot challenge me. Because I bring verses of the Quran and say, challenge this. They said, no. They lean on the hadith. I said, no, I don't accept this hadith. Tell me the kalamullah. Now, if we don't teach our children that, they don't have to become public speakers. You don't have to be a scholar. You can be alone in your house, but the Quran resonates with you. I think that's the savior. وَنُنَزِّلُ مِنَ الْقُرْآنِ مَا هُوَ شِفَاءٌ وَرَحْمَةٌ لِلْمُؤْمِنِينَ. What we have revealed in this Quran is an intercessor and a mercy وَلَا يَزِيدُ الظَّالِمِينَ إِلَّا خَسَارًا. It does nothing for evildoers but destruction. Teach this to our children. So I'm dreaming. I say, we need to create an institution, and here's my dream. I see the entire Quran, Allah puts a carrot in front of us. إِنَّ الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا وَعَمِلُوا الصَّالِحَاتِ لَهُمْ جَنَّاتُ النَّعِيمِ. The one who does good enters paradise. God says, when you remember me, أَلَا بِذِكْرِ اللَّهِ تَطْمَئِنُّ الْقُلُوبُ. You get, إِنْ أَحْسَنْتُمْ أَحْسَنْتُمْ لِأَنفُسِكُمْ. When you do good for yourself. So Allah says, what carrot are you going to put to this child that's going to have interest to read this Quran that has been ignored? Quran even says, the Prophet will complain on Judgment Day, Ya Rabbi inna qawmi ittakhadhu hadha al-Qur'ana mahjura. My Lord, my community ignored this book. I'm terrified of that sentence. My messenger is complaining about me potentially, unacceptable. I don't want to be on that side where the Prophet is complaining and says, you ignored my book. I said, how do I woo this young generation? Some of these boys and sisters came to recite Quran. They had brought tears to my eyes. And I said, SubhanAllah, it's amazing. And how do we make them proud to read it? Not to say, this is some religious thing on the side, we have to do it because it's an Islamic school. We haven't put the carrot. We haven't hyped it. My dream is to say, kids who achieve high standards of Quran don't pay tuition for the whole year. They come to the school for free. Or they pay, but we give them incentives where we give them cash and we pay for their higher education. So now, it's not difficult for me to have $1 million fund, especially just for Quran. Just sit, put it on the side, and we encourage, put the carrot for this kid. The child says, wow, I can wear that gold medal. The Olympics has gold medal. I can also wear a gold medal and proudly stand as a Muslim and I'm empowered. Who's going to say no? We need to empower it. So I'm having all these dreams. I said, we're going to do this, inshallah. And it's doable. I met some top reciters in California. I asked them, would you be willing to come to Michigan and to join our team? They said, yes, we would love it. If you can empower it, this is what's lacking in society, let's do it. So we have an institution, we can build it, and we can do it in a magnificent way. Why not? Yes, sister.
How involved are the students in the community?
Which students?
Why students?
How involved are they in the community?
Like
That's
community service.
Excellent. Hussein actually is one of our, as you know, Brother Hussein, I didn't introduce to you, but... No, hold on. It's only fair. I know many of you know Brother Hussein Sharara, but really, he's really, honestly, this WISE Academy exists because of him. He's the one who pushed it.
He's the one that paid for it.
No, I didn't pay for it. No, alhamdulillah. I'm just saying, he's the one who pushed it. He felt strongly it's needed. I was hesitant at first because I didn't want to take this step. When you've done it for so many years, you just sometimes get tired. He said no. So we're blessed. And what is really his strength? If you ever listen, if you ever come and watch him at WISE, sometimes he's until midnight. What is he doing? He's doing intervention, one-on-one. Parents call him. They have a problem with their child. He deals with them. Then he has kids at night, at 2, 3 in the morning, calling him that, I'm going to get addicted tonight. He would jump in the car and go and save that child and take them away from drugs. He's actively involved in drug rehab and drug intervention because that's a cancer that's got to be dealt with. We cannot just rosy and look everything rosy, lovely, education. There's a cancer building in our community. We need to take the weeds out, as we say. So he's very active in that, and he will explain to you some of the programs that he's doing in terms of intervention, youth interaction in the community.
So we have multiple soup kitchens. When we take them on Sundays, we feed the poor. We go to Detroit. One of them is through the NSO. We go through some of the worst communities. We feed them, we clothe them, and we build relationships where the people actually look forward for the students to come and see them, because it does two things. It gives that community that's got basically nothing hope, and the other thing it does, it gives the kids that usually come in Dearborn. Unfortunately, Dearborn Heights is a cocoon. We really think that Dearborn is the center of the universe. So when you go 5 or 10 miles out and you go into some of the parts of Detroit that really have nothing. Remember, in Detroit, it's a big deal to get a degree in high school. For your kids, it's not. And that's only 10 miles away. So when kids see that, they appreciate you more, because they see the people that are on the street that don't have anything. That's one. Another thing that I'm working with, just like Hassanain has a dream, we're building an initiative. I have a doctor that goes to Haiti. It's just people that every kid has worms in their stomach, dehydrated. So we want to build forms with security. We already have some groups in the way where we take our kids there. Other things that we want to do, we also want to do Hajj trips, where at an early age we take our kids to Hajj, even for Umrah and so on.
By the way, we have a WISE in Houston, just FYI, a 60,000 square foot facility. It's fully operational. It's state of the art. Really, I mean, we have got groups that walk in that say, wow, what is this? Swimming pool, gymnasiums, fitness, massive banquet hall, classrooms, you know, a lot of facilities. And our goal is to, once we build up our operations there, that our kids will also do some inter-exchange. We have one facility in London, UK, by the way. That launched in the beginning stages and is still operating as an after-school program. In fact, the Jewish kids in the neighborhood, they come to our facility for tutoring. They do not go to their communities. They feel our education is better than theirs. That's for a Jewish community to believe in that, because you know, usually their bars are very high, their standards are very high. So we're very honored to be part of that. And I feel that we're actually starting operations right now. I'm very involved in social services in the Philippines. I'm very active in Philippines and in Indonesia. We actually are building orphanages there. And in Philippines, we're very active in educating the next generation, because we found a lot of the youth there are being marginalized and pushed on the side, especially Ahlul Bayt. There's only 15,000 followers of Ahlul Bayt. Although we don't necessarily focus only on Ahlul Bayt, we work with Christian and non-Muslim, even Muslims of other schools of thought. We don't discriminate between that. But we feel that that power now is opening channels, that some of them are coming here to visit us on student exchange programs. And I'd love to build a strong education system there, that our youth can go, even a group of them, can go and get exposed to this reality, because there's nothing more that's greater as a teacher than experience, and there's no greater experience than to travel. Siru fil ard. Quran says, Siru fil ard. Fandur kayfa. Kana. Go see how things are, you know. And traveling changes your vision. It broadens a child's vision. It's extremely important. I've seen youth have one philosophy. Once they've traveled, they come back, their philosophy changes. They see the world with broader eyes. And I love that.
We also have CVIS, where we give I-20 visas for students outside of the country.
Yeah, we are, by the way, authorized for that too now. We can actually do
Like we've had some students that are coming from Bahrain. I know we have another one coming, Kuwait this year. And eventually we want to do housing. You know, the one parent says, parents are sending their kids across the country, across the world to come here, where my child has no idea the value of this institution, where somebody does on the other side of the world. And in T'Challa, one of the other plans is to build housing as well, so T'Challa, for these students. But I believe the community service, the main reason is not just to help them, it's actually to help themselves, because the student that we want to develop is the one that appreciates you and the things that they have. We always say, if you give your child 2 iPhones, one that's for free and one that they worked hard for, they're going to appreciate the one that they worked hard for. In this community, what's happened sometimes is we've given it for free, then we're asking 10 years later, why is my son or daughter talking back to me? Because they've never learned the art of appreciation, so that's why we're heavily into community service. Any other, Sister Summer wanted to make a point or something?
In the past couple of years, our students have already been involved with Vista Meadows, with Zaman. They would visit our juniors and seniors, would visit Zaman once a week, and they help with the food drives over there. They help organize all the donations that are over there and box them up. They've gone to Vista Meadows and done the same. They've also been involved with Starfish, which is an organization for underprivileged youth, and they go and they actually work with them in the classroom. And then we have our early learning management program, where some of our students in the school, they can, as one of their classes, they can receive credit for and get the community service hours for volunteering in our early learning classes. And it builds a lot of leadership skills. And then one of our initiatives for next year, inshallah, once we have our campus, is to have right on site, having our own food bank and having it completely student-led. So we know the importance and value of having, of building the community service within our students, and then inshallah, that's something that we will continue to improve upon.
Thank you.
parents, those of you who've come as parents with your kids, if you have any questions, any concerns, we would love to hear your feedback. And don't hold back, please. As I mentioned, when we sometimes get criticized negatively or it appears negative, it's actually the most positive thing we can hear, because that could be the savior of something we could have made a mistake tomorrow. Whenever I hear some criticism, I always say, hold on, there's something to learn from this. Maybe there's something to pick up on this. We're not going to stop. We just have to improve. And we want to hear, even positive comments, we want to hear from you, because it makes us feel, okay, we're in the right direction, alhamdulillah. You know, and of course, by Allah's grace, we see a lot of positives. And of course, as I said to you, if nobody praises us, it's not important. If nobody criticizes us, it's not important. What's important is that we have the best program available in the furthest distances, and people line up just to get that program. I think that's the true testament of success.
Assalamu alaikum. Some concerns that I've been hearing in the community it's the main concern that I've been hearing, and I'd like your advice on how to address it when families ask me about whys and policies and procedures. In terms of the hijab policy for the 4th grade, which is the age of 9, if a family, the mom specifically, doesn't practice the hijab, the headscarf, and her daughter, if she's at Wise, 4th grade, mandatory has to wear the hijab, and then after 3:30 takes it off because mom or dad don't want her wearing the hijab at 9. They want to wait until, for example, their shahada or their manajat says puberty, and she hasn't hit puberty yet. How do you handle that situation? What do we tell our families or our moms that are refraining from enrolling their daughters for that one reason?
That's a good comment you've made. Thank you. And I think I would underline the word refraining. It's an interesting thing. You've got a child's education and you've got a good program, but I'm going to refrain it simply because I do not want to don a decent dress. I'll define hijab. I'm very public about this. My vision of hijab is not the generic headscarf. And I do not believe in niqab. I don't think niqab has anything to do with Islam, in my opinion. It's something that was added as ihtiyat to zid ihtiyat. We added ihtiyat on top of ihtiyat. It's like saying stay in a tent, stay in a bubble. But it's got nothing to do as a jurisdiction in Islam. In Hajj, you cannot cover yourself, your face, I mean. You cannot cover your hands. It's forbidden, when you're in the state of ihram. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, in His most sacred home, forbids you from doing that. What else is there to talk about? But people think when you put on a headscarf, that's hijab. In my opinion, by any logic, it's not. Okay? A person wearing very tight, revealing clothes, especially when it's all the way up to your sleeves and it's displaying a lot of ornaments, one would question, is that really hijab? Even if I took a little scarf and I put that. Now, the symbolic nature of hijab, in my opinion, is a phenomenal position for Muslims. That even when a nun puts on her scarf from a distance, she looks Muslim. I think that's great. We hold, the brand of modesty. SubhanAllah, that's wonderful. All the Abrahamic religions had it, they abandoned it. So the scarf is very powerful, and yes, it does send a message. Even those sisters who wear very tight clothes, by the way, my hat's off to them for even putting it on. But even those who don't wear it, I don't pass a judgment. If a sister does not wear any hijab, even if she wears tight clothes, it's la ikraha fi din. There's no compulsion in religion. People think, no, when you become Muslim, there's compulsion. No, the compulsion is self-derived. When I say the shahadatain, I submit myself. The ikraha fi din is me. I choose it. I don't have to. I can relinquish my Islam in a second. But Allah says it's up to you. Right? Inna hadaynahu sabila imma shakira wa imma kafura. We guide you to the right path, whether you're grateful or ungrateful. So God said it's up to you. So we don't pass that judgment. But I want us to understand the problem that when a mother comes in, and I've seen it one time at the school, the old school, with due respect, a lady walked in to pick up her child. I said, I think this is a lady who probably lost her way. I mean, you know, it really shocked me. I mean, you're talking about, I cannot describe how she was dressed. And it only comes in these Hollywood movies in the dark of the night. You understand my point? This was in the daytime. She walked in and I said to the sister, I think this lady is lost. I think she came in the wrong building. The sister said, no, she's got her child here. I didn't make a comment, I mean, I didn't make a judgment, but I said, I gasped, like, wow, we have a lot of work to do. Now, with due respect, when you're coming to pick up a child, let me give you an example. If you went to Washington and you're going to meet a senator, you're going to go with t-shirt and say, hey, Senator, I want to talk to you. It's not going to work. You're going to don, you know, they're going to look at you. Who are you? First impressions are lasting impressions. When you go to Hajj, why does God tell us to put the ihram? Why doesn't God say, listen, I don't care about how you dress. I want to check your heart out. No, you have to go to miqat, you have to remove, you have to wear it. Why? Ask Allah. Because there's an akhlaq to approaching something when you approach it. Now, if I come into a masjid and I put on a hijab, and then I get in my car and I throw the hijab out, people say that's hypocrisy. I don't say that's hypocrisy. I say when a mother wears the hijab, and it's respect. She respected the institution. When a non-Muslimah comes to a masjid, she'll put on a hijab, right? A scarf. Typically, they'll put on a scarf when they come and visit. Even Islamic centers, when they come, they put on a scarf. They're not Muslimah. They're not Muslim. But they wear it. Why? Because it's a respect. Sometimes non-Jewish people who go into Jewish communities, they'll wear the yarmulke. It's out of respect. It's not because you're Jewish, it's out of respect. I think we need to learn to respect each other. It's not about passing judgments. That's number one. Number two, what message do we send if we allow this kind of behavior? Because if we present ourselves as a non-or an amoral school, where we do not look at the morals, or what we call cherry pick morals, and then we turn a blind eye to certain morals. I do believe that modesty is the fabric of success in society. And I truly believe, even those women who don't wear hijab, who have modesty, who have haya, you know, where they will prevent themselves from being tapped and touched and intermingle with the opposite gender, that's haya. You get it? So where do we draw the line to the haya? Okay, so yes, you're picking up a child, but if you refrain from sending the child simply to wear that, then the child is paying a price for the mother's desired behavior. You see? So I'll give you an example. At the camp, I had a Christian boy come and work for us over here. So he was in the car with me. We drive this golf cart. And there were girls coming out, so we reached the gates. I said, well, you can't go in here. He said, why? He says, well, I said, the girls are in here. He said, but I'm not Muslim. I can't marry them anyway, so why can't I go there? Smart question. I said, it doesn't matter whether you can marry them or not. It's like saying, that, I'm an animal, I'm not going to eat you. But, let me roam around you. I mean, this doesn't work that way. They said, I get your point. So then the sisters came out, and some of them were wearing very tight clothes, very tight. They had a scarf on. They said, I'm not Muslim, but I don't think that's a hijab. What do you call a hijab, right? He says, that's not hijab. This is a Christian boy I just met. I said, how much Islam do you know? He says, I don't know, but I know that's not hijab. He says, brother, with due respect, he said, I'm not looking at their hair. I mean, when men look, do you think they look at their hair? So when Quran says, وَقُلِ الْمُؤْمِنَاتِ يَغْضُضْنَ مِنْ أَبْصَارِهِنَّ, right? وَلَا يُدْنِينَ زِينَتَهُنَّ, and let them not display them. It's a fine line. What does it mean? So I think we have to be prudent and teach our children modesty. We don't necessarily say, oh, you know what, you don't wear hijab, you're going to hell. You don't wear hijab, you're not Muslim. You don't wear hijab, you're a fasiq. No, we don't say that. In our school, we do not pass judgments. I don't like it, because that same woman who's not wearing hijab could have the heart of gold, right? And I've seen some women don the full hijab and they've got venom in their tongue. So it's not about that. It's about trying to present something in a modest way, and we have this responsibility as an institution. And when parents come to us and say, well, I'm not bringing my child because, I said, no problem. There are certain principles we just simply cannot sacrifice with due respect. We're not asking you to wear a full abaya and niqab, and no. But just come modestly dressed so that it doesn't shock our kids from saying, is this okay? Because, at the end of the day, it's all about role modeling, right?
And also the follow-up would be the fourth graders that don't wear hijab. The question would be, why are we making them wear hijab in our institution?
The fourth graders. Yeah, I think as
Or fifth graders or eighth graders or whatever, doesn't
Right,
matter.
right. So obviously fifth graders, they're 10 years old. Yeah. Now, typically, it's like saying my child has never fasted. It's not obligatory. But when they do turn with puberty or the day they become baligh or baligha, we're going to institute that. It's like saying you never held a scalpel, but when you get your degree, now you're going to do surgery. How? You have to do surgery to get your degree. And then when you get your degree, now you're good in surgery. So the notion of saying that you don't have to do that, you know, there is such a thing as hasanat, there's such a thing as mustahabbat. Mustahab is the foundation of wajib. If you don't do mustahabbat, you don't know what wajib is. So children who do good deeds from childhood, that's the foundation of what will lead them to become good when it becomes obligatory on them to do wajib. So this notion that my child is not obligated. So I would ask the adult, okay, you know that qunut in salah is not obligatory, it's mustahab. Do you drop it? He said, no, I do it. I said, why? Why would you, if your boss said, do this, I'll give you a bonus. It's like when you take an exam, there's a bonus question. You say, you know what, I'm not obligated to take the bonus here. But you get extra point. I don't want it. I said, okay, you're shortchanging yourself. So I think we should think from that paradigm to say, bonus is good, but indoctrination is wrong. But encourage them in a positive way. And by the way, research shows, and here's research, most middle schools, elementary middle schools, Islamic, in the United States, in non-Muslim countries, when children leave middle school to go to high school, the girls typically remove their hijab. Large percentages. Why? Because we shoved religion down their throats. We didn't explain it to them. We did not make them feel with an identity. It was just something that had to be done because God is going to punish if you don't wear it. When this child turns 15, 16, they start to think in a recalcitrant way, where they start challenging institutions because they feel they're autonomous and independent. And they say, well, I'm not convinced hijab is important on me, so I'm just going to take it off. And when I see that, I don't blame the child. I see the system's failed. Somehow we're recycling religion, and we're taking a rubber stamp 1400 years ago, and we're just stamping it with no sense on it. And I think that's a problem. I believe that even here, if a child says, listen, I don't want to wear hijab, we discuss that. We see them on the streets after school, they don't wear hijab, we pass no judgment. We dialogue. But sometimes, you know, even in the military, you can say, listen, I don't want to go to a boot camp in the morning. You know, the colonel says, I'm sorry, whether you like, but I've never woken up at 6 in the morning. I've never run, you know, I don't go running at 6. Sir, you're going to learn that, because that's what I'm going to shape you. Then when that person is a general, you say, how'd you get here? Well, I was put through boot camp. That's what made me who I am. So we're not boot camp, of course, but you get my point. I think we should encourage each other, but we should do it with bil hikmah. Quran says, "Ud'u ila sabili rabbika bil hikmah wal maw'idatil hasana." Invite them to the way of Allah with wisdom and kind exhortation. Not to say to a child, you're not praying, you're going to hell. You prayed wrong, you're going to hell. And none of this. We have to love Allah. We should not be afraid of Allah that we're going to go to hell, therefore we worship. Even hijab, we should not say to a sister, sister, you're not wearing hijab, you're going to go to hell. Don't ever say that. We don't allow that in our school. We say hijab is a public flag of modesty. You, and I say this in public, I believe, let me give you a simple point and then we'll move on. In a battle, who is the flag bearer? The strongest person. We say Abbas in Karbala was the flag bearer. Imam Ali alayhi salam was usually the flag bearer. Usually he was the flag bearer on the front because whoever's holding the flag keeps the morale of the entire army. I believe the true flag bearers of Islam are the women, not the men. I'm not wearing a flag. I can mingle in society. You can't really tell me I'm a Muslim. But a sister wearing hijab, even a mile away, you say that's a Muslimah. She's wearing a flag. So I believe the strongest people in society are the flag bearers. Now when you say that to a sister, I say, you decide. Do you want your modesty? Do you want to hold on to it? Do you want people to respect you? You decide. You know, and I really think there's a psychology in that, and we can't expect everybody to understand it, but bil hikmah, slowly.
Parents always ask, what's the approach? The student, like I've dealt with prostitutes in the community, and even them, I don't pass judgment. And they're wearing the worst clothes. And I say, look, if you were to wear less clothes that isn't as tight. Are you gonna attract the same guys? They say no. So what type of guy are you gonna attract? Oh, a different type. You know, the same argument. There's a lot of dating in the community. So all we get him to do is try to reflect that guy that just texted you to say come over to do something. Did he do it behind his mother's back? And your mother's back? Yup, he did. Who loves him the most? His mother. I said, if you marry this guy, what do you think he's going to do to you one day? Oh, he'll go behind my back. Think about it. Is it worth it? Maybe not. So what did we just give that student? To empower them to reflect, for them to make the decision.
Awareness. We make them aware. I think the key is making people, this dialogue, by the way, even the situation where some parents say, I don't want to wear hijab, I don't want to come and pick up my child. This dialogue, sometimes this little friction is healthy. This is how we approach it, we discuss it, and subhanAllah, I love these kinds of interactions sometimes because they bring real dialogue forward and it creates moderation on both sides.
We have a Saturday school too. You know, and we get mostly students from Troy, Novi, because they can't come here every day. And most of the sisters that I teach don't wear hijab. And they come to school without hijab. We've allowed that flexibility because we know they're not there every day. And I tell you, in regards to hijab, they have the best hijab. Between their behavior, their morals, and so on. And most of these students are going to Ann Arbor and some of the Ivy League schools. So hijab is not only the dress.
And it's not an easy dress, let's face it. Today with Islamophobia so prevalent, it's not. But I do believe when the going gets tough, the tough get going. You and I have to make a decision. Do we throw the towel in and run because the enemy is poking a finger at us? Or do we stand up and change society because they poke a finger at us? You know, I think that's the question we have to ask. Do we apologize? Or do we stand up and say, no, hold on, we have a right and we're going to be respected. Today, if you look at media, a lot of advertisements now are including hijabi women in the ads in American media. It's penetrating now. It's becoming part of the fabric of acceptance. And I think at the end of the day, just one quick point. I was on a plane and Emirates Airlines entering Dubai. There was this German or American woman, I think she was German because she had a German accent, but blonde head, very scanty clothes. She was a model. She was dressed in very scanty, but like a model. She walked in, she sat on the seat. And then we flew, and when I landed in Dubai, I saw a lady standing with Abba. I said, because there were only a few people on the front of the aircraft. I said, where did this lady come from? Then I looked carefully, I said, that's the same lady that came in when we walked in. So now she's entering Dubai, and she's going to don the full abba. She wasn't wearing, she wore the shayla, you know, at the side, but she had it on with pride. You know, she's going to walk into the. I'm thinking, wow, she's not a Muslim lady. She's so proud, and she's so proud to wear it. I'm thinking, wait a minute. How come she has such pride to wear it? Because that environment has created fashion in that industry. It's created such a hype that for you to be there, this is how you look good. Why don't we create something like that within our communities where our children feel empowered to dress a certain way? Not only does it serve a moral purpose, but now it serves a fashion purpose. And I don't think there's anything wrong with that.
Yeah, next. Go ahead.
So there's no psychological affliction on a 9-year-old, or like negative affliction or obscurement for a confusion for a 9-year-old to put it on between 8:30 and 3:30 and then leaving at 3:30.
No.
Okay.
No. It's like but not only that, it's an exposure. It's like telling a child to do an experiment. They may never be scientists, but that exposure is healthy. By the way, I'll give you an example. I had a family when we started our school from the Hajj Hassanain Rajabali. And you know, we're open to all. So in the conversation, the teacher mentioned the 12 imams. So the mother called me. She said, hey, my child is being taught about the 12 imams. I don't like that. I said, really? Why don't you like it? She says, well, my child is not, Ahlul Bayt follower. I said, has your child gone to Catholic school? She said, yes. I said, they teach that Christ is the Son of God. Did you have the same reaction? She was silent. She said, no. I said, you have denied your child an understanding of a different dimension. No one has asked your child to accept Ahlul Bayt. No one has asked your child to become follower of Ahlul Bayt. But if you don't expose it, if you do not talk about it, then you're trying to create myopic ideas for your child. You're trying to create a child who's very restricted. She says, oh, I never thought of it that. I said, don't take it personal. If your child is taught even about the Khalifa Rashidun, it's good. If I teach them about Christ, I teach them about Judaism, I teach them about Hinduism, I teach them about Krishna as a God, that doesn't mean my child is going to become a Hindu, but they need to to be exposed to it to make decisions. So when a child is wearing a hijab from morning to, it's not confusing. It's like wearing a uniform. And say, this is my uniform. Tomorrow, inshallah, when this child leaves this institution, he says, I wonder why I wore that hijab. But if I don't introduce them to that, how will they ever know what modesty is? I was in Florida, quick example, I can tell you 1,000 stories. I went to see this man, very wealthy, selling a hotel. His whole wall was filled with alcohol. Hard liquor. So we're signing this deal, buying this big hotel. I wasn't buying, the brother was buying. He said, come with me. So I looked at this man, he's a very nice man. I said, can I ask you a question? He said, sure. I said, do you drink all this stuff? He said, well, sometimes. I said, he said, why are you asking that? I said, do you like it? He said, well, is it good for you? He says, well, not really. I said, my advice to you, you're such a nice person, I would advise you to drink healthy things. This is very destructive. This causes cirrhosis of the liver, it damages your brain, it inebriates you. He put his pen down. He was signing, he put his pen down. He looked at me and says, in my entire life, no one ever told me that. Thank you for telling me that. He didn't take umbrage to it, because I presented in a very gentle way. I said, I really like you as a person, and I feel for you, and pardon me, I don't mean to sound judgmental, but I feel that I would rather have you live long and be healthy. And your skin will look, even better. Look good, but you get my point. He put his pen down and said, no one ever told me that. Now I think if I didn't tell him, on Judgment Day, he would complain to Allah that this community of Muslims around you that you sent as agents, they never spoke to me. They turned a blind eye. So I think when we take our children and give them that experience, we're not going to come a year after and say, excuse me, this child was a wise student, are they wearing hijab or not? If they're not, we're going to cancel their transcript and we're going to, never allow them to go to school again. No. Yeah. We have teachers, by the way, who don't wear hijab, but they wear it. And then when they come out from school, we don't pass judgment. That's perfectly fine. We have non-Muslim teachers. No problem.
Our best teacher was actually a Christian.
Yeah, one of our really good teachers is.
He moved to Houston, he said that I always make a comment that our worst students here at Wise, I stand firm with two comments. You bring your student at Wise, we're going to care for them. I tell them there's very few places in the world where people care for you. Another comment I said is our worst students here are the best students in the school. I always make this comment. This teacher went to Houston. He said, I never understood that comment until I went to another school. He says, you have no idea how good you are.
Hajj Ramzi, who is our coach, is him and Hajj Nader Audi. Hajj Ramzi, who is our coach, he's, by the way, the husband of Sister Summer. He runs his programs for our youth, right? The basketball programs. And when the teams come and compete, their coaches say, your kids are special. They're well-mannered, they have a clock, they don't use foul language, they're kind, they don't have the belligerent behavior. That's priceless.
This question may be for the principal or assistant principal, but in terms of curriculum, we're plagued in our community when our students are coming from the public charter schools. The curriculum is, even the best, the creme de la creme, is established to meet students' needs and identity of children in the West. So taking the opportunity of a school in a private setting, how is curriculum being developed where we are making it relevant to our children as Muslims in this country in the 21st century?
Excellent question. Well, let Sister Sama reply that first.
Thank you. Just to give a brief overview of the standards that we follow, we have adopted the Oakland School curriculum. We do follow for math and language arts, the Common Core, for social studies, the case, and for science and GSS. And our teachers work on curriculum themselves to align them, and they do curriculum mapping. They're actually working on that so that not only are they aligning the curriculum for the content area that they're teaching, but they are also working together to plan thematic units to be able to integrate ACT into, ACT standards into the curriculum, and WEA standards into the curriculum. We also, one of the things we do is we offer students the opportunity to take dual enrollment classes as early as the 10th grade. So they can start based on their academic abilities and their social skills and maturity-wise. If they're able to, we'll allow them to take dual enrollment classes then early on. And then we also offer an honors track for our students. And again, we have those small classroom sizes. On average, we have 14 to 15 students in the classroom. It's, you know, they are naturally getting that one-on-one attention. We also have the after-school program for our students who are struggling. We keep parents in the loop. We know how important it is to keep a strong connection between home and school. And so anytime a student is receiving less than 75% in any class, we're immediately contacting the parents. Email will go out. We'll talk to the parents and say, okay, look, your kid is at a 75. It's not failing, but for our terms, for our sake, it is. And so we want to get them, we want to make sure they don't fall any further, and we want to help to get them up there. So they might get after-school services. A lot of our teachers work in the after-school program and provide that one-on-one tutoring for our students.
Let me also interject, because I think your question pertains to the child's ability to integrate within the society. There's an implied notion that you probably asked, that general public schools, the non-Islamic schools, particularly ours, is more tuned towards Western identity. And let's define that. If you become granular, you'll see where we're going with this. The Western, some of our kids who come to WISE who wanted to leave WISE, it wasn't for academic reasons. It was because they couldn't date girls. They wanted to date girls. They wanted to have freedom to date girls in high school. Okay? Even at the late middle school, they wanted to date. But the pressure was on. There was a group that was pressuring them from other schools. You know, you guys are boring. You're not having fun. You know, and even if you date in this institution, you know, the school is going to stop you from doing that in a proactive way. So if that's the identity that I'm talking about, the integration, the assimilation of the Western way, then definitely, you know, because I think we paint a broad brush when we say Western. No child in America, they could be going to the most restrictive school, the most, you know, enclosed school that's not part of the Western way. It's culturally possible. People like Lebanese who migrate to America, when they go back to Lebanon, they're no longer local. I know Iranians who speak fluent Farsi, fluent, but they've come to America, they call Khariji. They call foreigners back home because it's naturally, culturally, you just adapt to Western ways, just the way of life. So that adaptation, in my opinion, is unavoidable by any standard. So we encourage that. We want our kids to be very astute and to be very aware of what's surrounding, what's hot, what's not. They're totally aware. Our kids are fashionable. You know, they do the things that the rest of the community does. What differentiates us, if you want to draw a negative picture of the word West, meaning I'm going to take that word West out and say immoral or amoral, then of course we do not promote that. Now, when a child comes out of our school, are they aware that when they enter the university, can they interact? Absolutely, there's absolutely no difference. In fact, what differentiates them is that their lenses are sharper to catch the nuances of rights versus wrong, which in their other schools they were not taught. And I think that differentiation naturally puts them above the rest of the class. And I think that's a good investment.
Our goal with every student, I always tell the parents, when they get accepted to Ann Arbor, Harvard, and on Saturdays, like Michigan State is the top 3 party school in the country. If they go there on Saturday nights and they walk by and they see a party filled with things, they look at it and they're able to keep walking, you'll be able to sleep at night.
Yeah.
And the only way they'll be able to do that is that for them, it's ugly.
You know what I used to do in the older schools? I used to take all the kids, my students, and tell them, this is what's going to happen to you in the university. And they would take notes. I said, I promise you, this is going to happen. This event is going to happen. This event is going to happen. And I'm going to give you the dynamics of why it has to happen. So then I would tell them, okay, when this happens, this is how you react. You have 2 options, this way or that way. We would walk both options. I show them the downfall of this option, the proper option I show them. I say, you choose, you can decide. SubhanAllah, one of the boys went to Boston University, and one of them was at Harvard. He called me. He said, brother, last year you told me this, SubhanAllah, there it is, it's happening. Every day I'm being bombarded with the questions that you have taught us, and we are so aware of it that you're so right, it's a trap. I went through the system. I was shocked. In my university, my university then was intelligent compared to now.
my university, University of Colorado, 50,000 gallons of beer is consumed in a weekend. 50,000 gallons. That's a swimming pool every weekend. My roommates who were very smart, they would go out and, do cocaine. They'd be smoking beer bongs, going across the hallway with the girls. And I was shocked. They said, what do you do? Why don't you join us? I said, hold on, I'm trying to understand what is going on. Where did I land? Which planet did I land on? And I saw that. I said, this is the real poison. You can have a 4.0 GPA and you're a drug addict, and you've got bad behavior. Ask a parent, your son is making $1 million, but he's got a bad habit. And his marriage is on the rocks because of that. What's its value?
If anybody thinks that that's not relevant here, just go ask the bar owners in Dearborn why they hate Ramadan. The bar owners in Dearborn hate the month of Ramadan fasting because their bars are not filled up.
And usually they open, even casinos. In Africa, I was lecturing in Tanzania. Casinos open up late at night because our community is the biggest, some of them, So I'm thinking, okay, there's a problem here. Religion is being recycled. It's a rubber stamp. And I always say, Islam to many of us is a noun. It's a noun. It's an entitlement. It's a title we inherited. It's a noun. It's not a verb. Whereas the entire Quran, when it says, وَمَنْ يُسْلِمْ وَجْهَهُ, here, the Quran is not saying a noun. It's saying it's a verb, 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 verb. We left the verb, we put the noun. The non-Muslims are following the verb. And we have the noun.
Sister Dina, she's the principal of the elementary. I mean, my kids have gone through her elementary school, started reading at preschool. We had parents who had kids in the preschool program and another kid at first grade, because at the time there wasn't first grade, and the preschooler was outdoing the first grader in another school. So it's really because of Sister Dina's initiative, so she's also going to talk a little bit
Let
about
me
that.
make a quick comment about Sister Dina, which I didn't mention the name. Actually, to us, she's a huge asset at WISE, a true blessing, honestly. And I'm not praising you in public, Sister Dina. I've watched you teach. If there's somebody who's hands-on, passionate, systematic, very, very understanding, it's Sister Dina. Really, it's just a huge blessing and a great asset to have. We all love Sister Dina.
Yeah, I just totally forgot what I was going to say now. I'm embarrassed. Okay, thank you so much. I just want to go back to the whole curriculum topic. Sister Summit had mentioned that we have adapted the Oakland County schools, and of course we're in Michigan, and all schools in Michigan, whether public or charter or private, follow Common Core. But I just wanted to address what's so different, what makes WISE stand out in regards to curriculum compared to public or charter schools is the fact that, of course, we're an Islamic school, so we're teaching Arabic and Islamic, whole separate subjects, part of our schedule. What makes us stand out compared to a public school or a charter school is that we take that Arabic, we take that the Islamic concepts, the beliefs, the morals, and as Hajj has mentioned many times tonight, integration is key. So it could be a lesson that is part of Common Core or that has come from Oakland County schools, but we make that lesson unique because we incorporate Arabic into that lesson. We incorporate Islam into that lesson. That's how we stand out.
And that's what makes it a true Islamic school. I can take them into a class and teach them ahkam. I can teach them, I can teach them tariq, history. I can teach them laws. And then you come out and you left Islam in that room. I don't believe in that. Islam is a ubiquitous presence, 24/7, and it's subtle. What is Islam? Don't lie, don't cheat, honor people, be humble, be kind, be generous, be caring, be sharing, be giving, be forgiving, be loving. This is Islam. When people say, are you teaching Islam? I said, there's no other thing to teach but Islam.
Another thing that we did yesterday, we did our science fair. So we had some parents that used to be in Montessori that came yesterday to the science fair. They told me, they said, we've been to about 5, 6 science fairs, and this is the best we've ever been to. Some of the things that were done, they extracted DNA. Some of them did a hoverboard and other things. And I made the notion, I said, wow, the sky is the limit. So we're catering the building just for things like that to boost them as well.
And we want to empower them, you know. One time there was a kid who was walking with me, he looked at me, he said, "Oh, Brother Hassanain, I look up to you a lot." I said, "Thank you." I said, "Can you do me a favor?" He said, "Sure." I said, "I need your help." His eyes lit up. "Really? You need my help?" Now he was a bit of a, rambunctious child. His focus was limited. So he was constantly distracted, but high energy, very positive. He came to me and said, "Brother, I really, I look up to you." I said, "I'm very honored. So I have something for you to do. I need your help." His eyes lit up. He focused. He looked at me carefully. I said, "I need you to help me with A, B, and C." You should have seen how focused he was. For the entire week, he was just zoned in. I said, "Look, all it takes is empower them. Tell them you're important. Don't look down on them. Look at them at the same level. Let them reach up to your standards." He said, "Really, you consider me to be your helper?" I said, "Absolutely." Many times in the Muslim world, when I say, the Prophet said that, or Imam Ali is, "Oh, that's the Prophet, that's the Imam, he's too high." I said, don't ever say that. To me, that's negative. The implication is that you and I are so low that don't even bother to come next to them. Whereas the Prophet said, "We are the Safinatul Nuh, those who got on the ship saved. When you walk through the jungle, stay right behind us. Don't stay far away from us, you'll get lost. And don't go ahead of us, you can't." How do we teach our children that potential? When I look at a child, I say, "What is in your imagination?" That boy who made the hover, I said to him, "Brilliant project." I was very impressed. The mother came to me, she says, he wanted to go out and buy this leaf blower. And I said, "Habibi, what are you doing?" She said, "Mom, I've got my idea. I know what to do." She says, "Okay." I followed him. And subhanAllah, look at this contraption he built. I love it. I'm seeing praises. He got first prize, by the way, one of the first prizes. I went to him, I said, "Excellent project. I love this. Very impressive. But I've got a project for you." So the two boys looked at me. I said, "It's too noisy." It was rattling the whole room. He says, "But brother, that's the echo." I said, "I don't care. Could be echo, could be vibrations, could be modulations. I don't care. I have a project for you. Silence it." So they looked at me, "What?" I said, "Silence it." They said, "You can't silence it." I said, "Don't ever say that." I said, "You know what the real power of business is? Find a problem, get a solution, and the business follows you. That's all about life. Find the problem, get the solution, and see the rest of society." So he looked at me and he said, "I'll help you. How about you put a brush around it and you contain it?" The other brother said, "Oh, wait a minute, I could silence it with the muzzle on top." I said, "Now you're thinking, I like that. So go home, I got another project for you." What we do is we praise them, and we give them another platform to rise. We say, "Okay, good job, now make it better." This is how we break barriers. And inshallah, we will continue to do that.
Another thing is, teachers are also like mothers. They see a child saying something, deviating something that's wrong, sad for that day. We're constantly trying to figure out. Sister Reem's main job, she's the assistant principal, constantly going into classrooms to see if there's any other potential at-risk problems. And sometimes I'll bring it to the attention of the parent. Your child watches this at 10:30. My child's asleep. Don't say that. They don't know what to talk about. I get a call the next day. "You're right. How do you know more about my child than me?" Because sometimes we spend more time with the child than they do. If the child comes at 8 a.m. or 7 a.m., sometimes they don't leave until 8 p.m. because of the after-school program. So sometimes teachers get phone calls at 9, 10 o'clock at night. "Miss, did I miss this homework assignment? Can you please send it to me, or else I won't sleep at night?" They'll send it. If you go to a public school and some teachers never would have that relationship with teachers. Sister Summer, to take the opportunity to also introduce our teachers. Many of them are here. Just to introduce us so you could put a face behind each one of our classes.
I'm excited to get to introduce our staff because they're awesome, and we are very privileged to have the staff that we do. They are really of high quality, and not just academically and their school background, but in terms of their akhlaq and coming into WISE every day. You step in, you're going to get a smile from every single one of them, and so they really help to build such a beautiful environment. And another thing that we really try to foster within our students is leadership. So we do our best to present them with as many leadership opportunities as possible. One of the most impressive things about yesterday's science fair was if you go up to any single one of our students, they weren't just standing there looking pretty in front of their board. That's something that they just did at home. But they were able to explain it, from beginning to end and so thoroughly. And that was just so impressive. Most of what we do is very student-led. So anytime we have an opportunity for a student to take the stage, it doesn't matter what the event is, we want the students to get in front, because you can be strong in your academics, you can have a brilliant mind, but if you can't get up and present in front of a group of people, then there's a gap that we need to fill. And so we really do stress on that, and we help build our students and encourage them to become public speakers as well. I'm going to go ahead and start introducing our staff. So you already got to see Sister Dina. You're from Sister Dina. She's the principal of our elementary program. Sister Mariam, if you'd like to stand for 1 second. She's Sister Mariam Juma. We're going to start with the front. Sister Mariam Juma is our math teacher for the high school students. Sister Farah Zghaib is our science teacher for high school. Sister Zainab Smarian, if you can please stand, is a science teacher, middle school and high school. Mrs. Sablini, Rima Sablini, she teaches ELA and social studies. Sister Ola is volunteering and inshallah is joining us in Arabic, our Arabic department. Sister Khadija Haidar, she is an Arabic teacher for our early learning program. Oh, I missed Hajj Ahmed. Hajj Ahmed Hamdan is our Arabic teacher for our boys, Islamic teacher for our boys. Sister Iman Saleh works in our early learning program. She's a paraprofessional in the classroom. We have Sister Zainab Ramadan, you just popped right in there. She teaches our advanced level Arabic. Haji Sabah Beydoun is our Islamics teacher for the females. We have Sister Maryam Brahim is our preschool teacher. Sister Reem Sabah is our assistant principal. Sister Zena Zahed is the director of our after-school program. And we have Sister Atika Kazwini, she teaches social studies. And we have Brother Ramzi, he's the coach for the boys. Is Brother Nader here?
No,
he's not here. Okay, he's the other coach. And we do have a few other staff that either they had to. Did I miss anybody? I don't want to miss anybody. I don't see. Oh, Sister Haida, you're hiding back there. She's our account manager. And we have our great ladies in the back. Sister Fatma Ibrahim and Sister Laila are our front desk ladies. They're awesome. And then Sister Sahar Said, she's actually on a trip with her daughter for a Make-A-Wish. Her daughter was given the Make-A-Wish Foundation trip, so she's on a trip with her daughter this week. She teaches math. Sister Rita Hamadi just stepped out earlier. She teaches English. We have Christina Dugan, Fatma Dugan. She teaches English as well.
Finally, let's recap. The new building, just FYI, is about 120,000 square feet. There's about 48 to 50 classrooms in the building. We have 25-meter swimming pool, 5 very wide lanes with meet startups, so kids can actually compete regionally and nationally in swimming. We have a state-of-the-art gymnasium with a theater. We have labs, we have auditoriums, we have a beautiful prayer hall, we have media centers, 4 or 5 different kinds for the young ones as well as for the older ones. Computer labs, we have drafting labs, for creating 3D, and we're going to be adding the robotics lab, inshallah. We're negotiating this team that comes in, and they're very professional, and that's what they do. They teach robotics in schools, and we want to commission them as a start-off so that our kids get, impressed with that. And the facility is, has a huge atrium, it's got a massive cafe. We've made sure that kids feel very comfortable in the place, it's very safe, and it's a very warm environment that really fosters thinking and education. Even our color scheme, as you know, why is one of the things that we are very meticulous about is color schemes, because we feel that it affects the psyche when you enter a facility in a classroom. How does the room look? You want to create that very healthy environment. So we just want to keep that updated to you. And inshallah, we're hoping to get the entire building finished by September. Though the brochure says that at least half the floor, the first floor, but no. We're working to complete the entire facility. Today, about 15,000 square feet of concrete was just poured. And as you know, once concrete is poured, the plumbing is done, now the electricians come in, the HVAC gets put in, and the finishing touches get put in. So, and the state is very much on board with us, and all our structures, everything is state mandated, it's watched very carefully to make sure everything is within code and protocols. So we are anticipating, inshallah, by the first week of September to have this facility. It won't be fully ready, but it'll be operational. There'll be parts, and that's typical. But just want to let you know that inshallah, we're gonna make it by September.
The gym, the pool, the classroom.
Yeah, we have a beautiful gymnasium. It has actually 6 basketball goals. It's got volleyball, actually 3 volleyball courts, 1 on its own or 2 on the sides. And we have video walls in the facility, so kids, when they do plays, the entire background actually, inshallah, is going to be adapted in high-tech forms. We have good sound systems, and et cetera, et cetera. Inshallah, once the building is ready, almost ready, inshallah, we'll be able to, we'll be updating, and as I said to you, we need to update this on Facebook on a frequent basis. Brother Hamid, as you know, is one of our media persons. We're going to keep you informed so you have a clear vision of where this whole construction is going. But we feel confident enough currently, and as you know me, I don't take things lightly, and try to promise you deliver. So inshallah, in September we're going to have this facility, barring anything major, God forbid, but as you know, inshallah it'll be ready in September.
Any other questions before we conclude? Anything at all?
Thank you so much. May Allah bless you really. I can't thank you for your patience.